right, here is the video review for Studio Series 112 Optimus Prime from the upcoming smash hit Transformers 1, which will be out, I think, in September, if I remember correctly. Gonna be a good time. Anyway, Optimus Prime, Chris Hemsworth voicing Optimus in this movie. We've seen some preview stuff. Looks like it's gonna be kind of an origin movie on Cybertron. They aren't able to transform as the movie starts, according to it appears from dialogue. So they earn those transformations after running into, I believe, Alpha Trion. Again, you have to watch the trailer and watch the movie. But anyway, here he is in vehicle mode, and it's an okay vehicle mode. It's Cybertronian-esque. It's got some little covers to hide the little rolly wheels under here. He does come with his axe weapon that stores right here, as well as this gun placement. The gray, people have been asking me when I started posting pictures about the pre-yellowed plastic. And I will say, like, it doesn't bother me in hand because it doesn't strike me as like yellowed plastic. It's just a different gray than we're generally used to seeing on Optimus Prime. It does look a little off. It's not what you're used to. It just doesn't feel yellow, pre-yellowed to me. It just seems, like I said, it's weird, and I don't know if it's trying to match what we see on screen or what. But he rolls just fine. He's kind of an armored truck. One of the things that's weird about it, he comes with the axe weapon. He comes with this little gun assembly that I wish could actually transform and wasn't a parts forming thing right here, because his shoulder missiles, you can have them like, I rotated them around just to be a little less thing, but like you can set them like this. His shoulder pipes come as separate pieces, but they plug on and you don't have to take them off for transformation. So you can have them going like that. Personally, I think rotating around looks better in vehicle mode, whether you have this attached or not. But if you want to have them like look like they're just a whole bunch of guns on the front of his car mode, you can. His hands are very obviously here on the sides of his robot mode. And what's even sillier about that is because he's literally, like, you flip these pieces up, he's literally holding onto pegs on his legs. Like it looks like he's like holding his pants up. Or like I remember something like wearing like little can shoes or whatever, where you'd have the string run through them and you kind of held them as you walk to keep them attached to your feet. It's kind of a silly look to have him just basically grabbing his own thighs here, or shins, as he goes. You can disguise that, because one of the things I found works really, really well with him, because he only comes with this axe, or energy axe weapon. The rifle from the old Generations Orion packs looks really great with him, and you can have it facing forward or backward, but you can, if you get a couple of them, you can, or any other weapon that you would prefer to have here. There is enough clearance. The peg on this doesn't go all the way through the hand, so there is room for him to hold some weapons and disguise those hands a little better in vehicle mode. And also, like I said, this weapon up front, it's kind of a soft, it's not entirely rubbery, but it's a softer plastic piece. But it pegs in, it's just got a couple of posts, and sometimes you will need, I'm going to use my prying tool. I've used the blade of the axe to get it off sometime. You'll notice it's not pushed all the way in right now, because if you push it all the way in, it's really, really hard to get out. And these are so thin, these posts, that I do not know if I would trust it to pull all the way out more than once or twice without snapping those pieces. It does have some flex and some give to it, but when you get these little thin pieces pushed all the way flat against this, getting it out is really, like, I'll see how far I'm willing to push it out, but you really have to kind of fight it to get it out there. Like, you can't just wiggle it, and it just doesn't feel right. And even when you push it all the way in, there's just enough of a gap there that if you use a prying tool, or like I said, the blade of this axe, you can kind of get in there and pop it out a little bit, and that's safer. Don't try to just rip it off, because I just see these breaking on a lot of figures if you're not careful getting this piece detached. Now here's what the truck mode looks like. He's got a standard grill without this is technically listed as a blaster on his accessory list. And it is a blaster for his vehicle mode, but you can flip these around. And like I said, the way I leave them configured is I'll even take the axe out. And the axe is just friction held in here. We'll show that off in a second. But actually, let's go ahead and do it. It's held in vehicle mode. It kind of comes around where the legs tab together, and these tabs just kind of slot into the kneecaps. But there's his vehicle mode without any weapons attached. And that's fine enough. And then, like I said, I'll probably give him this because I think this rifle looks really good with him and better than the axe. So I can either have that facing forward, or if I want to have it facing back, I can tuck it away like that on either side of his vehicle mode. That's probably how I'll carry him around because the axe is okay-ish. The blaster is, one, again, it's flexible, but it's such thin. Even the cannon barrels and these posts are so thin, like I just worry that it's going to shear off either here or here at one of these points, carrying it around like that. But it's an option. It does come with the figure. And like I said, replicates some stuff in the movie. Base robot figure transform. You want to get the hands off the pegs, and that's the hardest bit because getting them on, you got to get them everything lined up right because he doesn't really lock together in the front or with the legs. This is the crucial point because he has some tabs here on the side that peg the arms peg onto the sides here, but those don't really hold securely. These hands grabbing these pegs are really what holds the vehicle mode together. And because of that, it can be a little bit difficult to get it to sit. You really, when you're going into vehicle mode, the first thing you want to do is make sure you push these securely. And you got to get it at just the right angle to push these things in. And I don't know why it's so frustrating, and maybe some will be easier, but like you got to get that to click in and then worry about lining up the rotating things and lining up the rest of the tabs, because that's the hardest thing you're going to have to do. And you really need to do it, because if you don't have those attached, let me get both of them attached from either side, because there's just this little tab that goes in here, and if these aren't lined up correctly, see, without those tabbed in, these tabs are not secure enough to hold the whole front end together, nor are these. You can get them, you can have this stay together in vehicle mode without these on, but then the legs wibble, and it's very easy for them to come undone. These tabs are mostly for guidance more than actual friction stay together. They don't stay on very well themselves. And then these tabs here in the grill are just these thin little tabs, and the place they tab into isn't even a complete solid hole. It's got a big opening in the back of it. So it's really hard to get this to stay together unless you have him very securely holding these pegs. Just FYI. But transformation, you can go ahead and flip the feet up at any point in the process. And then up here, when I come up here, you want to untab the arms, lift up this panel right here, bring the arms out to the side, bring the legs down at the hip right here. This panel is kind of loose. It just kind of flips up, so the legs have the clearance to flip up, and then it kind of comes down when you get to robot mode. Separate the legs. These panels rotate around into the inside of the leg, which is a little awkward because it just brings those tabs to the inside of his legs and gives a little bit less of a gap there. But it exposes some cool technical detailing on the outside of his legs, so I guess it's okay. Then here, bring the legs down like this, fold the grill in, and then fold this back down, and you'll see these pegging. That's the other thing too. When this comes up, it would have been nice if somewhere in here, because it looks like, hey, maybe there's some tabs. These don't fit it. And it would be nice when you're going into vehicle mode and this has to come up like this. It would be nice if these pegs right here had some place to peg in up here to hold this together a little bit more securely. Once you have all the pegs, the hands especially, pegged onto these tabs, it does stay in place. It just would have been nice if those pegged in a little bit more securely into this torso. But anyway, flip up the grill in vehicle mode. Flip that up, and then rotate his whole torso around so it's more proportionally proper to where it should be sitting. Okay, that is in there. And then the arms are going to bring them out like this. And then this piece right here with the hinge is going to fold inside the shoulder piece. So you want to fold that all the way up into there like that. Again, bring that up and around and fold that over the shoulder. And then this panel, I have it at an angle, rotate it around, folds down onto the back. The head flips up and out. And then fold it down to the neck and rotate it around. And there's Optimus Prime in robot mode. You can go ahead and flip his shoulder stacks to the proper direction because they should be facing up for robot mode. The previous weapons underneath here, and again, you can see there's kind of a cutout groove here on this weapon and a little tab here, and then a kind of cutout groove here where this, I'm just going to try to do this. So basically, these tabs are going to sit in this little groove on the top of this red peg, and then these little grooves right here are going to go down this little tab right here, and it has just enough friction to kind of stay in place. So you just tap it in like that. And like I said, it's very easy to knock loose when this is up. This is supposed to just fold down to his back. And when it's folded down on his back, you're a little less likely to knock it loose. But like I already did, just touching that, it doesn't take a whole lot of effort for this to come loose. It's not the greatest weapon in either mode. It does give him, like I said, it makes the front of the vehicle mode a little bit more dynamic than just a flat grill as weapons. But it doesn't store well. It does kind of fill a little bit of the gap back there, but it doesn't take much effort to knock it loose, and it's just ineffectual as a weapon. The axe can go on his hand, and see how just touching it, I've already knocked that loose again. It just pegs into his hand. It's a little weird looking because of the big tabs that hold it into place in vehicle mode, but you can give him his energy axe. And officially, that's what he comes with. Like, it's not everything he comes with, but that's officially, armament-wise, that's what he's got. We're going to see if we can't get this to stay on. If it falls off again, it's just going to go off to the side while we finish the rest of the review, and it's going to fall off again because that's just how this works. So anyway, we'll go there. The axe can store either side. There's a couple little slots up here. You can slot that onto the back, tab it on like that. His chest, well, let's go posability first. So he's got ball joint at the neck. He can look up and down. A lot of real good motion there at the neck. Shoulders, again, got front to back. You got a little bit of crunch there. Up and down swivel, front to back. He's got a bicep swivel, hinge elbow. He's got wrist swivels. He's got a waist swivel, although again, there goes that weapon again. We'll just set that off to the side for now. He's got regular hips. He's got a thigh swivel there just above the knee. He's got hinged knees. He's got some ankle tilt there in the foot, and he's got a little bit of opposable toe. So he's got some decent posability here in robot mode. I'm going to go ahead and take this off just because it's just dangling off the back there. He does come with, inside his chest, the Matrix. And the Matrix has a couple little tabs on either side of it because his hands have some little slots in them. So if you bring his arms forward and you rotate his hands just right, you can get them together in a position where you can put the Matrix in those slots and have him hold it. Now this side, I can plug it in and get it to hold fairly securely. The slot on this side, I may have to just very, very gently file just a little bit of material out of it because it's just a little too tight on this that if I put it into this side by itself, after a second it would just spring back out. It's just a little too small. If I do it like this, if I get it just right and don't push it all the way in, I can kind of approximate him holding it in his hands there out in front of him, which is cool. But like I said, if I can't get it in both slots at the same time because if I put it in this side, no matter how securely I get it in there, and of course now it's proving me wrong, but it doesn't take much for it to just pop right back out just from the friction being just a smidge too tight. And I certainly can't get it into both hands at once because just the friction, just having something else on the other end of it, giving it just the slightest bit of resistance, it wants to pop out of that slide. You can see it's not staying in. That's easy enough to fix. But yeah, it's not the most ideal hold the Matrix, but if you want to have a Matrix that doesn't just have a couple of big slots in it to peg into his hands, it's a compromise. I think it would work at a larger scale. On a piece this small, it's just the tolerances have to be perfect, or like mine, like one side just won't hold it in securely. But it's a nice Optimus. I mentioned earlier the Orion Pax rifle, and just to show that off, again, I just think it looks really good with him. So I'll probably have him carry that around. I really like him in robot mode. Again, some of his accessories are not amazing to me, but the robot mode itself, I quite dig. I like the look of it. I like the posability of it. It's a fun Optimus. It's just some of the stuff he comes with is less than ideal, the accessories. Size, again, size comparison real quick. Here he is with Voyager animated Optimus, just to give you an idea. He's a deluxe, so he is supposed to be a little smaller. He's a smaller size class of figure. Here he is with Origins Jazz, another deluxe, but he's a little on the large size for a deluxe in general. And then again, on the small side of deluxes, here's the Studio Series Bumblebee, just to give you an idea of where he sits in that. So a little on the large side for a deluxe, smaller than a Voyager, obviously. But yeah, check out the movie when it comes out. I'm excited about it. I'm looking forward to seeing how the cast they have put in the movie does in their respective roles. I really want to see how far into the origin story we get. Like, clearly we're getting Optimus. Will we get a full-on Megatron? How does that happen? Because it looks like they're kind of buddies in some of the trailers. And in some of the fiction we've seen, they've been friends before in different variations of the story. So I'm curious to see how it all plays out, and looking forward to it. So yeah, like I said, okay vehicle mode, which I think mostly suffers just for trying to be a alien version of Prime's truck mode. Interesting transformation. There's some, like I said, the legs and hips and the hands holding onto the pegs, not ideal, but like the way the shoulders and everything fold out and come together, the way the upper body transforms, I think is really cool. And all in all, it's a really neat design for Prime. I like it, and I'm looking forward to seeing it in action on the big screen. I just think the axe isn't bad. The axe is kind of a neat accessory. This piece is, again, replicating movie designs and scenes, but as an accessory to this figure, like, leave it in the box or find a place to store it. Like, unless you're going to just leave him in alt mode on your desk the whole time with this attached, find a place to store it. It's not great. The Matrix can store inside the chest in both modes, so that's fine. This, again, stores fine in vehicle mode, stores okay in robot mode. It just pegs into the back and is a decent weapon in itself, but I do think I'm just going to go with this rifle. I think it's the best. Any decent Prime rifle you like, it doesn't have to be this one, but I just think this looks better with him than either of these things do. But there is Studio Series Optimus Prime number 112 from the upcoming Transformers 1 movie. Really looking forward to seeing it. The toy is, like I said, it's okay. It's not offensive. It's just there's some things I wish it did better. Siri, I'm not asking you for anything. I'm glad you found things on the web, Siri. I appreciate it. Just so the AI doesn't kill me when they all take over. Anyway, Optimus Prime. He's Optimus Prime. I think these are the two that came in this Studio Series wave. I think if you had to choose between the two, even though he's smaller, Bumblebee is absolutely the better all-around figure for your money. Unless you just really hate Bumblebee and really like Optimus Prime. Optimus is fun. He's not perfect. And like, I know there's going to be a more basic line of figures. This is kind of the showcase Optimus Prime for this movie that we've seen so far. I hope we get to see some cool, once we see Megatron's final design, and get some Studio Series figures of them as well. Maybe we'll see a Voyager or a higher size class of this character that's not a toyetic gimmicky version, because there is a bigger version of this coming, but it's got like transparent arms for like glow battery light up effects, and yeah, I lost interest in those kind of things a long time ago, but they're not marketed for me, so whatever. Anyway, it's Optimus. He's cool. If you like Optimus, he looks cool on the shelf. I just think if you're going to spend money on one deluxe from this wave of Studio Series, get Bumblebee. He's way better. Anyway, take it easy. I hope you all are doing great. Next up, we will have... next up we'll have... Transformers collaboration, Ninja Turtles Party Wallop is apparently what they're... I don't know if they're calling him Party Wallop, or if that was a typo and he's just supposed to be called Wallop. But either way, the Ninja Turtles Party Wagon that transforms into a robotic Ninja Turtle should be here soon. And actually, by the time you watch this, I'll have it in hand. And that'll be the next video that goes up this week. So keep an eye out. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging around. And have a good